Ilia Topuria will be looking to successfully defend his featherweight title for the first time against former world champion Max Holloway at UFC 308. The blockbuster pay-per-view event is scheduled to take place at the Etihad Arena in Abu Dhabi in what promises to be an epic night of fights for MMA fans. From top to bottom, the card is stacked with several big names. While the main event will see two featherweight giants go toe-to-toe, many will also be intrigued by the co-main, which sees Robert Whittaker take on undefeated sensation Khamzat Chimaev. Britain's Lerone Murphy is also in action as he'll be looking to keep his perfect record intact when he takes on Dan Ige. Here's all you need to know about the confirmed fights. With an undefeated record of 15-0, Topuria has established himself as one of the top pound-for-pound fighters on the planet since signing with the organization. A dangerous knockout artist, El Matador's sharp and crisp boxing has only improved since his first fight under the UFC banner, a unanimous decision victory over Youssef Zalal. Despite having to work his way up, Topuria finally announced his name on the world scene after submitting Bryce Mitchell in 2022 before going on to dethrone Alexander Volkanovski earlier this year. As for Holloway, Blessed has much more experience on his side and knows exactly how it feels to win a UFC title. The former featherweight champion is unbeaten in his last 3 fights and comes into the showdown off a knockout win over Justin Gaethje. Barring any late drama, MMA fans will finally see these two middleweights killers go head-to-head in the cage. The pair were due to fight earlier this year, but Chimaev was forced to pull out due to illness. A former champion in the division, Whittaker is arguably a lot better now than when he was with the belt around his waist. He's improved drastically since his first loss to Israel Adesanya and comes into UFC 308 off a devastating knockout win over Ikram Aliskerov. Despite jumping up and down weight classes, it seems as if middleweight will be Chimaev's home for the foreseeable future. It's Boer's first fight since picking up the biggest win of his career against Kamaru Usman last October. Lerone Murphy finally has the chance to showcase his talent on a pay-per-view main card. It's been a long journey so far for the 33-year-old, who is unbeaten in 15 professional fights. A dominant win over Edson Barboza earlier this year proved that he is ready to take on the big boys at 145. That said, Dan Ige is no slouch and will prove to be a tough test for the Mancunian. Despite coming off a loss against Diego Lopez, 50K has great experience at the top level and will no doubt cause Murphy some issues in the cage. This fight could possibly have huge implications for the light heavyweight division. The winner of this contest will likely be next in line for a showdown with Alex Pereira. Magomed Ankalaev has already fought for the title before, but could only secure a draw. Jan Blachowicz, the 32-year-old, brutally knocked out Johnny Walker in his last outing. As for Rakic, the Austrian Rocket will be desperate to get back in the win column, having suffered defeats to Blachowicz and Yuri Prochaska in his last 2 fights. Opening up the main card is an exciting middleweight showdown between Sherabutton Magomedov and Armen Petrosyan. Magomedov, who is yet to be beaten in his career so far, has gone from strength to strength since signing with the UFC last year. A win over Michael Aleksejczuk back in August earned him a shot at Petrosyan, who comes into the clash off the back of a defeat to Rodolfo Vieira earlier this year. Ibo Aslan vs Rafael Cerqueira, 6:30 p.m. Jeff Neal vs Rafael dos Anjos, 6 p.m. Mateusz Rebecki vs Miktibek Oralbai, 5:30 p.m. Abusupian Magomedov vs Bruno Ferreira, 5 p.m. Kennedy Nzechukwu vs Chris Barnett. 4:30 p.m. Farid Basharat vs Victor Hugo, 4 p.m. Ismail Nordiv vs Bruno Silva, 3:30 p.m. Renat Fakhretdinov vs Carlos Leal, 3 p.m.